Don't miss any content. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sahara Football. You know how we do it here. Afcon 2019. I'm here with my good friend Ralph. We're here to discuss the Black Stars and their demise from the tournament. A premature demise, I have to say, in the round of 16 against Tunisia. We are here to discuss factors that led to that, what can be done moving forward, and the big question, should Coach Kwesi Appiah be maintained? Ralph, welcome back to Sahara Football.
Thank you. So we'll delve into the factors that led to Black Stars' exit from the ongoing African Cup of Nations. First and foremost, we look at the technical team. With any big side, you know that the manager as well as his backroom staff have a very important role to play in making sure that the team does well on the field of play. Coaches implement tactics and formations, and they expect the players to bring their vision on the field of play. So with respect to Kwesi Appiah, who is the manager of our current setup, which is the Black Stars, there's a man that failed to make sure that he implemented the right tactics for our side. If I'm saying that he failed in the sense that when you look at the matches we played in the ongoing competitions, we drew 3, lost 1 by penalties, and also it was only 1 match we won against the Minos of football in Guinea-Bissau. And you look at his tactics or his formation or his lineups, they were too predictable, if I should say. And when you look at his subs, to any time there was a sub he made on the field of play, it didn't really impact the whole complexion of the game. You need managers to better read games. Once you're on the touchline, read games in order to make sure that when you make a sub or when you issue an instruction to players on the field of play, it has a telling on the football that is played on the field. I feel that Kwesi Appiah hasn't really mastered the act of reading games properly. He hasn't really mastered the act of making substitutions which will have an impact on the game. So I feel that there was too much predictability with the setup. I also feel that there was no identity to how the Black Stars played on the field of play. You look at the side and sometimes you ask yourself whether this was a side that like we say, the Brazil of African football. There was nothing that told us that this was Black Stars. It was just a bunch of players that had been selected to represent the country. Anytime you watch the Black Stars play, and it was very symbolic and very heart-drenching watching the Black Stars play. They were always misplacing passes. It was as if one player didn't have an idea of where the other player stood. And I don't think it all get the word for the Black Stars. It was as if there was no preparation prior to this tournament. We went to Dubai, spent an ample amount of time there. We played friendly matches. You would ask yourself whether Kwesi Appiah was able to look at this side and say that this is a side that was capable of winning a tournament that had escaped us for well over 35 years. Look at our friendly matches that we played against South Africa and also Namibia. You could see that the Black Stars didn't really have any imprint on the game. And Kwesi Appiah, once he said that he has a side that was capable of winning the tournament, backed by the sports minister, backed by normalization committee president in Dr. Kofi Amo, and also the president of the nation. I mean, you felt that there was just words that they were just throwing about, and these Black Stars didn't really have it on their backs if they were supposed to win this competition. So I felt that the team didn't have any identity. There was too much predictability with the side. His subs didn't imprint the game, as well as he lost control over the setup. He didn't have any control over the players. The players felt bigger than him, the coach, because when you issue out instructions to the side, you expect them to do what you expect them on the field. And if the players didn't do what you expect them on the field, I mean, you as a coach, you've lost your respect for them. The number 10 issue was a very big problem. You look at Thomas Partey, you look at a player like Kojo Asamoah, you look at a player like Andre Dedeayu. They all wanted to play in the number 10 position. And for him not to have been able to make sure that this was a player that was going to play the number 10 position, I mean, it was all bullocks for it was very bad, if I should say, for Black Stars, because as a manager you needed to have a firm grip and say that this is the person who was going to play number 10 position. This was the person who was going to man my number 7. This was going to be number 9 for my side. I felt Kwesi Appiah didn't have all these, and it really had an impact on us. So very bad for Kwesi Appiah. He needs refresher courses for himself and also his backroom staff moving forward if he's supposed to manage the Black Stars further on in subsequent years.
So that's Rafael's initial thoughts on the Black Stars performance at Afcon 2019. There were problems, obviously. This is not overreacting. Yes, they lost on penalties, and we all know penalty can't be luck. It's based on luck most of the time, actually. Anyone can win on penalties, but there were more issues before the penalty shootout. There were more issues that needed to be addressed in the team, in the camp, with the coaches' tactics and all that before even that penalty shootout issue. We could have gone through to the quarterfinal and the semi-final also, but we didn't, and that is the truth on the ground. So once again, I'll ask Ralph, Asamoah Gyan, 7 Afcon tournaments. You will think this will be someone that will be dependent on heavily by Coach Kwesi Appiah. Do you think Coach Kwesi Appiah was unfair to him in not starting him regularly or bringing him earlier than he did in the games he played, which was 2 games? Or do you think the captaincy role played a factor in Coach Kwesi Appiah's demeanor or thoughts in selecting Asamoah Gyan for the games in this Afcon? What are your thoughts on that? Many Ghanaians feel Gyan should have had a bigger role in this squad. Your thoughts on that?
I concur with the over 30 million Ghanaians who feel that maybe just Asamoah Gyan should have had a bigger role in Kwesi Appiah's setup in Egypt. And you look at a player that has scored over 50 international goals for his country. How many players in the top echelons of world football have 50 international goals for their countries? You play international games about 6 to 8 times in a year. So scoring over 50 goals for your country, I mean, this is no mean achievement for Asamoah Gyan. There are certain games that called for Asamoah Gyan's inclusion. You look at the game, you look at the game against Cameroon. It called for Asamoah Gyan's inclusion, and I expected Kwesi Appiah, if he was a better tactician at his job, to have included Asamoah Gyan in that particular match against Cameroon, because we needed a goal. We needed to win. We had drawn our first match against Benin. Our second match against Cameroon, we needed to win. He didn't do that. He gave Asamoah Gyan about 8 minutes. I mean, what can you do with 8 minutes? In football, you need to warm up. Once you enter into the field of action, you need to warm up very well in order to also play the very best of your football on the field of play. I felt that Kwesi Appiah delayed in most of his substitutions, about 8 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. I mean, what would these players use these minutes for? Sometimes you needed to change very early on in the game to make sure that the players will have a feel of the action. I mean, as a better tactician, you need to read the game very well to make sure that once you are doing that, it helps the side. So I felt that Asamoah Gyan's bit pass rule caused Black Stars a very huge dent on our fortunes in the ongoing Afcon Cup of Nations.
You've heard Ralph's thoughts, but finally, I don't want it to be like we are just stating problems and not providing solutions. We've stated the problems. Moving forward, what do you think the Black Stars and Ghana football need to put in place? 2021 is just 2 years away. We are not very far from another Afcon that will be held in Cameroon. I hope this time it doesn't change. But we are not very far away from another Afcon. What do you think? What advice would you have for the officials, staff, technical team? Do we need a new coach, new tactics? What concrete measures should be taken by the FA to make sure this doesn't repeat itself and we can go all the way, at least, in an Afcon as we've been doing before this current one? We know what Anax exposés did to the Ghana football and all that, but what can be done following that Anax expose? That brought a halt to the league. And until later this year, earlier this year, before we played football and it has ended and we have representatives for Africa. What concrete efforts should be made by the GFA?
I was showing in the ongoing African Cup of Nations should bring a telling on our football administrators. They need to make sure that, as a matter of fact, they do not sleep on their laurels, because if Black Stars perform very woefully in the ongoing, we need to structure the system. Structuring the whole system means that we need to make sure that our local league is getting sponsorship, our local league is getting support from the various stakeholders. We also have to make sure that moving forward, we strengthen our youth system, our coach football. They are under 17, they are under 20s, they are under 23s. So we need to strengthen these sides so that they become a bedrock for our future football setup, our Black Stars. Once we do that, we'll be able to pick players from the under 17, under 20, as well as under 23 to feed our national team. We've had sides like Cote d'Ivoire, like Senegal, like Mali. They have done these things. When you look at the French side, they have this sort of progression rule that really helps their setup. But when you look at the Anglophone countries like Nigeria, like Ghana, like Sierra Leone, like Gambia, I mean, we do not have this progression, and I think it really has a telling on us. Some other positive we can take from our bad showing at the ongoing tournament is that most of our boys average an age of about 23 years. The likes of Andy Adam, Thomas Tepati, the likes of Baba Rahman, the likes of Mubarak Wakaso, and Tamo Usu, Kwabno Usu. These are guys that in the next 5 or 10 years, by injuries, and if they stay up on competitive football, we can rely on them, as well as take sides from our local football like Hatsofo, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Bechim Chelsea, Mediama, Adriana Football Club, and feed our national team. Once we are doing that, we set the ground rules for some of our local players to know that once they perform very well in our local football, there is a progression, or there is an opportunity for them to also play in our national setup. I advocated for the fact that Abdul Fattah Shafiu of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, he should have been at the tournament. Mohamed Hassan of Hatofuk, he should have been at the tournament. If he didn't even play, what it would have meant is that he gets the opportunity of learning from big guys like Dede Ayew, like Kojo Samoa, and also John Boy and all these guys. And once you do that, you give them experience. In their next tournament, if they are supposed to play proper or when they are called upon, I mean, who knows? They might justify their inclusion and stay permanently with the Black Stars. I mean, we had a bad showing, but there are several positive we can take for the side. So, I mean, it's all hope not lost, but, I mean, progression. We learn from our mistakes to become better persons and also better football nations. So, Black Stars, we move on from there. I mean, we didn't perform very well, but once we learn from our mistakes, we become better in our advancement of better football for our nation. So, everybody is happy once the Black Stars plays. The whole nation is united with a common effort and common goal. So, I expect our football administrators to make sure that they do not sleep on their laurels. They make sure that they institute better measures to help us in our football pursuit. So, lastly, this is what I can say in our positives for the Black Stars so far.
They shouldn't sleep on their laurels. I think they have no laurels to sleep on. They have no laurels to sleep on. We have a lot of work to do to end that 40-year. It's heading to a 40-year trophy drought. By 2021, it will be a 39-year trophy drought. The Black Stars always falling short in the Afcon. Last time they won it, the fourth one, was in 1982. They've been doing well, but this year was the lowest of the decade so far. I don't know what you think about it. Let me know your thoughts on what actions you think should be taken to help the Black Stars move forward. We know the problem. What is the way forward for the Black Stars? A lot of rumors going around about the escapades. I don't want to hear that. I just want to hear solutions. What is the way forward for Ghana football? What is the way forward for the Black Stars of Ghana? What is the way forward for us to end close to 40 years trophy drought in the Afcon? I've been your host, Salas Fiawi, here with Ralph. I'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy your day.